My name is Crystal. Standing in the midst of my brother's once ostentatious wedding, now a scene of chaos and disgrace, I can still feel the lingering rage from moments ago. The bride, Fiona, had a sneer plastered on her face as she spat out, "What are you doing here? Your impoverished family is dragging down our status. Just leave." The incredulity I felt surged through me like a wildfire. How could she, of all people, speak about our family in such a way? And my brother, Ethan, was no better. He chuckled, "You guys are losers. I'm going to take over the hospital. I've already won." As their words echoed in the hall, I was reminded of the long and troubled journey that had led us to this moment. My family had always been well off. My father, Dr. Henry, was a brilliant cardiologist. He had built his own renowned heart hospital from the ground up. Over the years, the hospital had become a haven for those in need of cardiac care, thanks to his hard work and dedication. My mother, Mrs. Lily, was a kind-hearted woman who had always been the pillar of our family, managing our home with love and grace. I, on the other hand, had chosen a different path. After graduating from a regular university, I landed a job at a respected marketing firm. I enjoyed my work, but people often wondered why I hadn't followed in my father's footsteps. The truth was, the responsibility of saving lives was just too much for me to handle. My brother Ethan, for years my senior, was initially the pride of the family. He was academically gifted and got into one of the top medical schools in the country. With his good looks and charm, he was popular among his peers. But as time went on, success began to go to his head. During his medical school days, he started living a wild life. He skipped classes and was frequently seen with different women. When my father found out about his behavior, he had a serious talk with him. "Ethan, what are you studying medicine for? It's not just about getting a degree, it's about helping people." Ethan rolled his eyes and replied dismissively, "Dad, I'll pass the exams. That's all that matters. Compassion is overrated. I don't need it to be a good doctor." He also started belittling me, saying, "Crystal, you'll never amount to anything. You're just lucky to have a brother like me." His words hurt, but I didn't know how to respond. After graduation, reality hit Ethan hard. He passed the national medical exam, but when he applied to two well-known hospitals, he was rejected. Through my father's connections, I learned that his arrogance during the interviews was unbearable. He claimed that he could single-handedly increase the hospital's revenue, and he even mocked my father's patient-first approach. With no other options, Ethan had to work at my father's hospital. He complained all the time, saying, "Why should I work here? This place is beneath me." My father firmly replied, "You haven't found another job. Stay here and learn." Ethan reluctantly agreed, but his resentment grew deeper. One day, he brought Fiona home. "Mom, Dad, Crystal, this is my fiancée." She was dressed expensively, but there was something about her that made me uneasy. She gave us a cold stare and a forced smile. Despite my misgivings, their engagement was set in motion. Ethan started coming home more often, not to spend time with us, but to ask for money. He wanted my father to cover the wedding expenses. My father sat him down and said seriously, "Ethan, I'm happy for you. But if you're starting a family, you also need to be more dedicated to your patients." Ethan grumbled, "I already am." My father persisted, "Then why are there so many complaints about you?" Ethan shot back, "They just don't understand my methods." In the end, my father gave in. "I'll pay for the wedding, but you need to be responsible as a doctor and a husband." Ethan nodded quickly, probably just thinking about the money. A few days later, the wedding estimate arrived. It was an astonishing $75,000. I was shocked and told my father, "Dad, you can't pay this much. He's just taking advantage of you." My father sighed, "A wedding is a once-in-a-lifetime event. I hope he'll change." I was skeptical but decided not to say more. Then, one day when I was out shopping, I bumped into Ethan and Fiona. They approached me with smug looks. Ethan said, "Crystal, you're coming to the wedding next month, right? It's going to be amazing." Fiona interrupted, "And you should prepare a proper wedding gift. As a sibling, anything less than $3,500 is unacceptable." I was taken aback. I had planned to give $1,200, thinking it was a reasonable amount. I told them that I would take care of it, but inside, I knew Fiona was being unreasonable. I consulted my parents, and they agreed that $1,200 was more than enough. So, I stuck to my decision. On the day of the wedding, I put on a simple blue dress and went to the venue. The place was indeed magnificent, with beautiful decorations and delicious food. For a moment, I forgot about my misgivings. But then, as Ethan and Fiona made their way around to take photos with guests, they stopped at our table. That's when Fiona launched her insults, and Ethan joined in, boosting his false claims of taking over the hospital. My father, who had been silent until then, suddenly let out a booming laugh. "Ha, what a farce." He turned to my mother and said calmly, "Let's go, dear. We're not welcome here." Then, he faced Ethan. "I don't know why you've been spreading such lies. But since you're the future head of the hospital, finding another job should be easy for you." He called over the hospital's current director, whispered something, and the director nodded. My father then said, "Ethan, as of today, you're fired. Find somewhere else to work." Ethan stammered, "Dad, you can't do this. I'm going to be the director." My father retorted, "If you were capable, you wouldn't need my support." Fiona, who had been clinging to Ethan, panicked. "Ethan, what's going on? You said everything was sorted." Ethan's shoulders slumped, and he was in complete shock. My father then explained to Fiona, "The hospital Ethan works at, I founded and led it. He told you lies. I'm a respected doctor, my wife is a loving homemaker, and Crystal works at a top-notch company." Fiona's face went deathly pale. "And about those wedding expenses," my father added, "I won't pay a single cent." Ignoring Fiona's cries, we walked out of the venue. One by one, the other guests, who had witnessed the whole scene, started taking back their wedding gifts. The wedding ended in a complete fiasco. In the following days, Ethan and Fiona were left drowning in debt and had to scramble to find new jobs. As for my family, we never mentioned Ethan again. For the first time in a long while, my parents were at peace, and their smiles were a common sight around the house. Looking back on that disastrous wedding day, I realized that sometimes, arrogance and greed can lead people down a path of self-destruction. And for my family, it was a painful but necessary lesson that we eventually emerged stronger from.